Welcome to another edition of the Laurier Football Newsletter. I'm head coach Michael Faulds, and I'm excited to do a video version again. The last time we did a video version of the newsletter was back in training camp when we were doing an outlook of the 2015 season. So I thought it was very fitting at the end of the 2015 calendar year to do kind of a recap of what the 2015 season entailed. And it's also perfect timing because the 2016 OUA football schedule just came out last week, so I thought we'd look ahead to that as well. So looking back to the 2015 season, you could really say it was a tale of two seasons. You know, you look at the first half and you don't want to make excuses, but we definitely were plagued by injuries. We had far too many penalties and definitely too many turnovers. And as a result, we were at the halfway point of the season with a 1-3 record. Many of you were probably at the homecoming game, and that was as low as we got this season. You know, losing to a Windsor team that definitely has our number, a team that battled all game and beat us fair and square. So that put a chip on our shoulders. Coaches, players, everyone dug a little deeper and said, you know, we can either turtle right now and not make the playoffs and, you know, kind of think of this season as a waste, or we can try to dig out of this one game at a time. And that was kind of what we did. Everyone dug a little deeper. Everyone from trainers to coaches to our therapy staff to players, everyone looked themselves in the mirror and said, we're going to make the most of this season. So each week from then on, we really took a playoff mentality. So in the Battle of Waterloo the following week, we won a football game. We really had our offense a coming out party against the University of Ottawa in a night game here before Thanksgiving, and put up 65 points, which was exciting. And then we had McMaster on the schedule the next week. A tough opponent, a team that had just played in the Vanier Cup the previous year, and we lost a really close game. But there were some things in that game that we knew were beneficial to us, and we felt like we can play with the big teams in this conference. But it all came down to the final week at Richardson Stadium against Queen's University, a team that we hadn't beaten several years at their homecoming, the last game at Richardson Stadium, and we were able to come away with a win, led by our strong play by our offensive line in our run game, and defensively creating a ton of turnovers, putting pressure on the quarterback, and being able to score with those turnovers. So that put us in the playoffs and a rematch from the week prior against McMaster. And like I mentioned, we saw some things in that previous game against Mac that excited us. Our players had confidence that we could play with that opponent, and we went into that game with a nothing to lose attitude. We felt we were going to walk away with a win, and defensively we were able to put pressure on their quarterback. We were able to corral their weapons enough in terms of their receiving core, and came away with a couple more turnovers. And offensively, again, we were led by our ground game. Our offense aligned. It was a ground and pound mentality. Dylan Campbell had well over 200 yards rushing, and we did just enough in terms of the pass game. We had some really big plays, a couple trick plays through the air, and came away with a big win. And that was a really satisfying win for every single member of this football team, every single player. That was their first win. And in particular, our seniors, now that they can look back after the season, that's an exciting moment that they'll always remember. When you reflect on the 2015 season, there's only really one team right now that's completely satisfied, and that's the UBC Thunderbirds winning the Vanier Cup. Everyone else is kind of, scratching their head wondering how they can get to that absolute pinnacle, and we're trying to figure out exactly how we can get there, but we're pleased with the progress. I think you can see a steady progression, and we're excited for what's to come in the 2016 season. This week I'm currently going through all our player exit meetings, so each and every single member of this football team has a chance to have a 10-minute one-on-one meeting with me to bring up any concerns they have, any issues, everything they like, everything they dislike. And it's a great chance for their players, to meet with their head coach one-on-one. And the ongoing theme as I meet with our players is how excited they are for the 2016 season. The taste of the playoffs, the taste of winning a playoff game, playing Western close in the semifinals, has made everyone super excited for the 2016 season, and in particular with the schedule coming out, that has just made everyone even that much more pumped for the 2016 season. So let's take a look at the schedule now. You can see that we start out with Queen's University. So Queen's we play on August 28th, and then York Lions on September 5th. So the first two games are at home. We then go into the bye week earlier in the season this year, which is good because we play a tough Carleton team in week 4. The neat thing about Carleton and ourselves is just a few years ago we had a combined 1-15 record. And you look at this past season and both teams are in the Final Four. So two teams that are progressing at a rapid rate, and that's going to be a big showdown in week 4. Then you look ahead, we return for a week 5 matchup, which is our homecoming, so make sure you circle that. We want a big crowd for September 24th, and it's also the Battle of Waterloo. We then play a road game at Western, a team we're very familiar with. We played them 4 times in the last 2 years. Both regular season games were absolute blowouts. Both postseason games were really tough, close football games, and it's about time that in 2016 we beat that other purple team. We then have a short week as we play University of Toronto on Thursday night before Thanksgiving, before returning home against the Yates Cup champions, Guelph Griffins, in our final regular season home game. And then we conclude the year against the Windsor Lancers down in Windsor, a team that definitely has our number over the last few years, and it's a good way for us to close out the season and hopefully head into the playoffs on a positive note. So I hope you look at that schedule and you're excited about it as well. Obviously, the one thing you always look for as a coach is see who your non-combatants are, and you'll notice the Ottawa GGs and the McMaster Marauders are the two teams we don't face. Anytime you don't face two of the better quarterbacks in the conference, I think that's a good thing. You might say that we beat both of those teams, and that's true, but I like, both of those teams are well coached, have great quarterbacks and a good receiving core, so not playing them I think is a good thing. So we're excited about the outlook. Recruiting is going really well for the 2016 season. We've got 2 quarterbacks, we've got a few receivers so far, and we've got a kicker from in town as well, and a couple defensive backs. So we're close on signing a few more big time commits for 2016. We're about to head into the recruiting blackout over the Christmas break, so this is perfect timing to conclude this year. And our players are well into their exams. Some of them are already finished, some of them, right all the way till 7 p.m. on the 23rd. Our coaches are wrapping up and ready to have a nice break. And then we get back to it January 4th, 6 a.m. for our first workout. And then January 8th will be our first practice at Rim Park. So on behalf of all of Laurier football, I hope you enjoyed the 2015 season. I hope you're as excited as our players, coaches, and staff are for the 2016 season. And I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Go Hawks, go!